The wine glass trembled in my hand as I sat across from Jake in our therapist's beige office, watching his jaw clench the way it always did when he felt cornered. 8 years. 8 years of my life I'd given to this man, and here we were, arguing about a simple question that most people manage to ask within the first few years of dating. "I'm dreading it," he said, his voice flat and emotionless. "The proposal. Just the thought of it makes me want to crawl out of my skin. But if you want to go to the courthouse tomorrow, fine, we'll do it." Dreading it. The words echoed in my mind like a death knell. Other women got surprise proposals at sunset beaches, elaborate schemes involving family and friends, or at least a heartfelt moment over dinner. Me? I got a man who would rather have a root canal than get down on one knee. I'm Sarah, 30 years old and apparently asking for too much. Jake is 39, successful, confident in every other aspect of his life except this one. When we met 8 years ago at a mutual friend's barbecue, he was everything I thought I wanted. Mature, established, knew what he wanted from life. He laughed at my jokes, supported my decision not to have children, and on our third date, he looked me straight in the eye and said, "I'm looking for something real. Marriage. The whole deal. Just so you know." Funny how those words feel like a mockery now. The first 4 years were golden. We moved in together after 3.5 years, merging our lives seamlessly. He kept his extensive vinyl collection in the living room. I commandeered the spare bedroom for my art supplies. We adopted a cat named Hendrix who loved him more than me, which I pretended to be offended by but secretly found endearing. Our friends called us relationship goals. His mother started dropping hints about grandchildren, which we deflect with practiced ease, united in our child-free stance. But then came year 4. "Hey," I'd said one evening, curled up next to him on our worn leather couch, Hendrix purring between us. "We've been together 4 years now. Maybe it's time to think about getting engaged." His whole body tensed. I felt it immediately, the way Hendrix's ears flattened when he sensed a storm coming. "It's not the right time," Jake said, his eyes fixed on the TV even though it was muted. "Work is insane right now, and once we get engaged, I want us married within a year. I don't believe in long engagements." I accepted it. Of course I did. He was a financial analyst at a major firm, and tax season had been brutal. I understood. I was understanding. I was always understanding. Year 5 came and went with the same excuse. Different project, same reluctance. By year 6, I thought we were making progress. We actually looked at rings together online one lazy Sunday morning. I showed him my dream ring on Etsy, a vintage-inspired rose gold band with a modest moonstone. Only $1,500. Not extravagant by any means, especially considering our combined income. "It's beautiful," he'd said, saving the link, "but I want the proposal to be perfect. You deserve perfect." "I don't need perfect," I told him, kissing his stubbled cheek. "I just need you. You could propose right here in our pajamas, and I'd say yes." He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "Let me do this right." Except he never did it at all. Year 7 brought a new twist. "The pressure of the proposal is too much," he announced one evening after I gently brought it up again. "Can we just skip to the wedding part?" My heart had soared. Finally, progress. I threw myself into research, bookmarking venues, creating Pinterest boards, getting quotes from photographers. I'd show him options over dinner, my eyes bright with excitement, talking about spring versus fall, indoor versus outdoor, small versus medium-sized guest lists. 3 weeks into my planning frenzy, he shut it all down. "This is too much," he said, pushing away the tablet where I'd been showing him a beautiful barn venue only an hour away. "Just give me 6 months. Ask me again in 6 months." I gave him 12. Not entirely by choice. He'd torn his ACL playing basketball with his buddies around the 6-month mark, and I spent 3 months being his nurse, physical therapy cheerleader, and emotional support system. I thought surely this would show him what a devoted partner I was. Surely this would prove I was wife material. But somewhere during his recovery, things shifted. Or maybe I just started noticing things that had always been there. "You're never around anymore," he complained when I joined a hiking group. "Every weekend it's another trail, another backpack to buy." "I invite you every time," I reminded him. "You always say no." "That's not the point. The point is you don't prioritize us anymore. I feel like an afterthought. An afterthought. 8 years, countless dinners cooked, laundry folded, work events attended, family dramas navigated together, and I was making him feel like an afterthought because I'd found a hobby that brought me joy. My ex did the same thing, he added, the comparison hanging between us like a blade. That's when I suggested couples therapy. Dr. Martinez was kind but direct, which I appreciated. Jake participated, but grudgingly, often spending sessions rehashing grievances from years past that I thought we'd resolved. Remember when I'd gone to my college reunion without him in year 2? He'd been invited but chose not to come. Remember when I'd forgotten to call him during my work trip to Seattle in year 3? I'd called him every other night of the 5-day trip. Remember when I'd prioritized my sister's birthday dinner over his company happy hour in year 5? It was her 30th, and his attendance at the happy hour was optional. But it was last week's session that broke something in me. I need to talk about marriage, I'd said, my voice shaky but determined. Jake, I'm scared you're never going to propose. You keep finding issues with me, problems with our relationship. If you don't want to marry me, I need to know. His face went red immediately. How dare you question my commitment? I said I wanted to marry you from day one. That was 8 years ago, Jake. You've had 8 years to propose. Fine. He threw his hands up. You want to get married so badly? Let's go to the courthouse tomorrow. Done. Married. Happy? What about a proposal? There will be no proposal. His voice was ice. I'm dreading even the thought of it. The pressure, the expectation, the performance of it all. I can't do it. I won't do it. You could propose right here, I said desperately, or at home on the couch. I don't need anything fancy. I just want you to ask me to marry you. No, Dr. Martinez intervened gently. Perhaps we could focus on the marriage itself rather than the proposal. Different couples have different traditions. I don't even know why she needs a ring, Jake interrupted. She doesn't wear jewelry. She works with her hands. I've told you for years I would wear my engagement and wedding rings, I said, my voice breaking. Maybe a silicone band at work, but I would wear them. You know this. He shrugged. That shrug destroyed me more than his words. I've spent the past week in a haze. I started individual therapy, wondering if maybe I am too demanding, too needy, not good enough. My therapist, a different one from our couples counselor, listened to my story with increasingly raised eyebrows. Sarah, she said gently, have you considered that this isn't about the proposal at all? But what else could it be about? I've polled my friends obsessively. My best friend Emma, married 5 years, says to forget the proposal and just get married if that's what he's offering. Some men just aren't romantic, she says. Doesn't mean they don't love you. My friend Chloe, recently engaged after 3 years with her boyfriend, has a different take. Run, she said bluntly. A man who loves you doesn't dread proposing to you, period. My sister thinks I should give him an ultimatum. My mother thinks I should be grateful he wants to marry me at all. My coworker Ashley, who just celebrated her 10th wedding anniversary, asked me a question that haunts me. Do you want a wedding or do you want a marriage with someone who enthusiastically chooses you? I know the answer. I just don't want to face it. Last night, Jake and I had dinner in relative silence. Hendrix, now an old cat, watched us from his perch on the windowsill. The courthouse comment hung between us, unaddressed. Jake scrolled through his phone while eating the salmon I prepared, occasionally showing me a meme or video. Normal. We were pretending to be normal. Have you thought about it? I finally asked. The courthouse? He didn't look up from his phone. Have you? I asked you first. I said I'd go. Ball's in your court. The ball's in my court. 8 years of waiting, and somehow it's still my responsibility to make this happen. I excused myself and locked myself in our bathroom, sitting on the closed toilet lid and crying as quietly as I could. I thought about all the proposals I'd witnessed over the years we've been together. My cousin's boyfriend proposed at a family picnic with everyone watching. My coworker's partner proposed during a hike to her favorite waterfall. Even my commitment-phobic brother managed to propose to his girlfriend of 2 years with a heartfelt speech at their apartment. But me, I get a grudging offer of a courthouse wedding with no proposal, delivered in anger during a therapy session. I've read all the Reddit threads, the ones about women who waited 10, 12, 15 years for proposals that never came, the ones about courthouse weddings that were beautiful in their simplicity, the ones about men who were terrified of proposing, but did it anyway because they loved their partners more than they feared the moment. Jake doesn't love me more than he fears proposing. That's the truth I've been avoiding. But here's the other truth. I'm 30 years old. I've invested 8 years in this relationship. We have a home together, a life together, 8 years of inside jokes and shared memories. Hendrix is bonded to both of us. Our finances are intertwined. Starting over feels impossible. And yet, this morning I woke up before Jake and made coffee in our quiet kitchen. I stood at the window watching our neighbor's daughter play in their yard, her new engagement ring catching the morning light as she threw a ball for their dog. She got engaged last month after a year and a half of dating. Her fiancé proposed at the dog park where they first met, getting down on one knee in the mud because he couldn't wait another day to ask her to be his wife. Jake emerged from the bedroom, his hair sticking up at odd angles, wearing the ratty college t-shirt he's had since before we met. "Morning," he mumbled, reaching for the coffee I'd made. "Morning." We stood there in our kitchen, the same kitchen where we'd cooked hundreds of meals together, where we'd slow danced to Hendrix Stevens. Yes, our cat was named after him. After too much wine, where we'd had fights and made up and planned our future together. "So," he said, not meeting my eyes, "you want to go to the courthouse today?" Today, a random Thursday. No planning, no announcement to family, no celebration. Just a transaction to get me to stop asking for what I really want. "Is that what you want?" I asked. "I said I would, didn't I?" Not "yes, I want to marry you." Not "I've been thinking about it and I'm ready." Just "I said I would." "I need to think about it," I said. He shrugged, that same dismissive shrug from therapy, and took his coffee to the living room. I'm sitting here now, typing this out on my laptop while Jake plays video games 10 feet away. Hendrix is curled on my lap, purring obliviously. My Etsy cart still has that moonstone ring in it, the price now increased to $1,250. Sometimes I look at it and imagine Jake sliding it onto my finger, telling me he loves me, that he chooses me, that he can't imagine life without me. But that's not my reality. My reality is a man who loves me, I think, but not enough to overcome his own resistance to giving me something that matters to me. A man who sees my requests not as opportunities to make me happy, but as pressure to perform. A man who would marry me tomorrow but can't, won't, ask me to marry him. My friends on social media keep posting their engagement announcements. "I said yes," they squeal, showing off rings and tear-streaked faces and beaming partners who look like they've won the lottery. The comments are always the same. "He's so lucky." "You two are perfect together." "About time." No one posts. "We went to the courthouse because he couldn't bear to propose. But hey, at least we're legal." I know marriage is more than a proposal. I know plenty of couples who eloped or had courthouse weddings and are blissfully happy. But they chose that together. It wasn't one partner's last resort to avoid doing something their partner deeply wanted. Dr. Martinez called this morning to confirm our next couples session. I told her I wasn't sure we'd make it. "Is everything okay, Sarah?" she asked, concern in her voice. "I don't know," I admitted. "How do you know when to keep trying and when to accept that you're forcing something that shouldn't be forced?" "That's a question only you can answer," she said gently. But Sarah, in healthy relationships, both partners are enthusiastic about taking the next step together. It shouldn't feel like one person is dragging the other. Dragging. That's exactly what this feels like. My phone just buzzed. It's a text from Jake. "I'm heading out to lunch with the guys. If you decide about the courthouse thing, let me know." The courthouse thing? Our marriage reduced to a thing to be decided. I've been researching apartments in my price range. Just looking, I tell myself. Just in case. There's a nice one-bedroom 6 blocks away, with big windows and a small balcony. Pet-friendly. The rental market is tough right now, but I make decent money as a graphic designer. I could make it work. But then what? Start over at 30? Navigate the dating world after 8 years? Explain to future partners why my longest relationship ended without even an engagement? Or do I go to the courthouse, marry a man who can't propose to me, and spend the rest of my life wondering if I settled? My mom called earlier. Honey, don't throw away 8 years over a piece of jewelry and a gesture. Marriage is about so much more than that. She's right, and she's wrong. It's not about the ring or even the proposal itself. It's about what his refusal represents. Every excuse he's made, every time he's moved the goalposts, every complaint about me not prioritizing him while he refuses to prioritize my emotional needs. It all points to the same conclusion. He doesn't want to marry me. Not really. He'll do it, grudgingly, resentfully, but he doesn't want it. And I deserve someone who wants it. I'm looking at that moonstone ring again, $650. I make enough money, I could buy it for myself, wear it on my right hand, a reminder that I'm worth choosing enthusiastically, not reluctantly. Jake just texted again. Also, if we do the courthouse thing, we should probably figure out if you're changing your name. The paperwork is easier if we know ahead of time. The paperwork is easier. 8 years and it comes down to paperwork. I close my laptop and look around our apartment. Our life. The photos on the walls of trips we've taken, smiling and sunburned and happy. The books we've collected, mine and his mixed together on the shelves. The succulents I've kept alive despite Jake joking about my black thumb. Hendrix's toys scattered around, evidence of a well-loved cat in his golden years. It would be so easy to say yes, to go to the courthouse, sign the papers, become Mrs. whatever Jake's last name is, to stop fighting for something he clearly doesn't want to give, to accept that this is what love looks like for us. But I keep hearing Chloe's voice. A man who loves you doesn't dread proposing to you. And Dr. Martinez. Both partners should be enthusiastic. And that little voice inside me that's been getting louder, despite my attempts to silence it. You deserve better than this. I pick up my phone and scroll through my contacts. There's the number for that apartment complex, saved just in case. There's Emma, who would tell me to compromise. There's Chloe, who would help me pack. There's my sister, who would let me crash on her couch while I figure things out. And there's Jake, whose contact photo is from our second anniversary, both of us laughing at something I can't remember now. I could text him right now, say yes to the courthouse, end this limbo, move forward into a marriage that starts with resignation rather than joy. Or I could text him something else entirely. My fingers hover over the keyboard. 8 years, 4.5 living together, 1 cat, countless memories, 0 proposals. The apartment website is still open on my laptop. That 1 bedroom with the balcony. Hendrix would like the sunlight. Jake would keep Hendrix, of course. He loves that cat more than anything. Maybe more than me, if I'm being honest. The thought should make me sad, but instead it brings clarity. I start typing. We need to talk when you get home. Not about the courthouse. I hit send before I can change my mind. His response is immediate. About what then? I don't answer. He'll find out soon enough. I stand up, disturbing Hendrix, who meows in protest before resettle on the warm spot I've left behind. I walk to our bedroom, my bedroom for just a little while longer, and pull out my suitcase from the closet. The same suitcase I took on our trip to Hawaii 2 years ago, where I secretly hoped he might propose on the beach at sunset. He didn't, of course. But he did say the sunset was too cliché, unprompted, as if he knew what I was thinking. I start folding clothes methodically, just enough for a week or 2 at my sister's place, just until I can get that apartment. My phone rings. Jake. What's going on? His voice is tight, worried. I'll explain when you get home. Sarah, if this is about the proposal, it's not about the proposal, Jake. It's about the fact that you dread the idea of asking me to marry you. It's about 8 years of moving goalposts. It's about deserving someone who chooses me enthusiastically, not as a last resort. Silence then. You're leaving me. Over this. I'm leaving because this showed me everything I needed to know. I said I'd marry you. No, Jake. You said you'd go to the courthouse. There's a difference. More silence. I can hear the restaurant noise in the background. His friends laughing at something. This is insane, he finally says. You're throwing away 8 years because I won't do some outdated ritual? I'm walking away from 8 years of being made to feel like my needs don't matter. Goodbye, Jake. I hang up. My hands are shaking as I continue packing. Hendrix wanders in and watches me from the doorway, his green eyes curious. You'll be okay, buddy. I tell him. Jake loves you. You'll be fine. He meows and jumps on the bed, settling on top of the sweater I was about to pack. That's not helpful, I tell him, but I scratch behind his ears anyway. My phone is blowing up now. Text from Jake, alternating between anger and pleading. I turn it off. 2 hours later, I'm zipping up my suitcase when I hear Jake's key in the lock. He must have left lunch early. Sarah! He's calling my name before he's even fully inside. Sarah, this is crazy. Let's talk about this. He finds me in the bedroom, suitcase at my feet. You're serious? It's not a question. I'm serious. Over a proposal? You're ending 8 years over a fucking proposal. No, I say, surprisingly calm. I'm ending 8 years because you've spent the last 4 making me feel like I'm asking for too much when all I wanted was for you to choose me. Really choose me, not grudgingly agree to marry me while listing all my faults. He runs his hands through his hair, a gesture I once found endearing. I do choose you. I said I'd marry you. You said you'd go to the courthouse, like it's a chore, like it's something to get over with. That's not choosing me, Jake. That's settling. So what? You want some fairy tale? Some perfect proposal? I wanted you to want to propose to me. There's a difference between the proposal and wanting to propose. You never wanted to, and that tells me everything. He stares at me, and for a moment I see it, the recognition that I'm right. But then his walls go back up. Fine, leave. But you're making a huge mistake. Maybe, but at least it's my mistake to make. I pick up my suitcase and walk past him. Hendrix follows me to the door, meowing. Bye, buddy, I whisper, bending down to pet him one last time. Jake appears in the hallway. Where are you going? My sister's. I'll come back for the rest of my stuff later. Sarah, please, we can work this out. We can go to therapy. We've been going to therapy. You spent the last session telling our therapist how much you dread proposing to me. I'm done, Jake. I open the door. I love you, he says quietly. I turn back to look at him one last time. I know, but sometimes love isn't enough if it doesn't come with respect for what matters to your partner. I leave before he can respond. My sister's waiting outside in her car. I texted her while packing. She doesn't say anything as I put my suitcase in the trunk and climb into the passenger seat. It's only when we're a few blocks away that she reaches over and squeezes my hand. You okay? No, I say honestly, but I will be. We drive in silence for a while. The city passes by outside the window, people living their lives, unaware that mine just imploded. My phone, turned back on now, buzzes with a text. It's from Jake. Fine, I'll propose. Tonight. With the ring and everything. Just come home. I show it to my sister at a red light. Don't you dare, she says. I won't, I assure her. And I mean it. Because a proposal given to prevent a breakup isn't a proposal at all. It's manipulation. It's panic. It's everything except what I actually wanted. Someone who couldn't wait to ask me to be his wife. I text back, no thank you. Then I block his number. The moonstone ring is still in my Etsy cart. On impulse, I buy it. For myself. For my right hand. A reminder that I chose myself when someone else couldn't choose me. My sister glances at me. What are you doing? Buying myself an engagement ring. What? I'm engaged to my own happiness now. She laughs, the first light moment in this heavy day. That's either the saddest or most empowering thing I've ever heard. Maybe it's both. We pull up to her apartment building. As I get out of the car, I look back the way we came. Somewhere in that direction is the apartment I shared with Jake. The life I built for 8 years. The cat I loved. The man I thought I'd marry. Tomorrow I'll be sad. Tomorrow I'll grieve. Tomorrow I'll question everything. But today I chose myself. Today I decided I deserve someone who can't wait to propose, who doesn't see marrying me as a chore to complete or a pressure to manage. Someone who would never ever say they dread asking me to be their wife. The courthouse will have to wait for someone else. Someone who wants to be there. Someone who chooses me enthusiastically, proposal or no proposal, but who understands why it matters to me and honors that. 8 years, 0 proposals, 1 decision that changes everything. I follow my sister inside, my suitcase rolling behind me, into whatever comes next.